In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on December 31st, 2022, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. TCU versus Michigan. Before we ring in the new year, it is time for the college football playoffs. The first game on New Year's Eve will feature the number 3 TCU Horned Frogs battling the number 2 Michigan Wolverines at the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. TCU, from the Big 12, comes into this game with a record of 12-1 after having their unblemished record ruined by Kansas State in overtime in the Big 12 championship game. Michigan, out of the Big 10, comes into this matchup with a perfect 13-0 record after dismantling Purdue in the Big 10 championship game. The Wolverines come into this matchup ranked 2nd in the country, while the Horned Frogs come in 3rd in the country. Michigan comes into this game with a 13-0 record overall, and although there has been some talk about the toughness of their schedule, they have still done enough to make the playoffs. In the Big 10 championship game, Michigan scored 43 points, and they were able to win by 21 points against Purdue. In the last game, J.J. McCarthy completed 11 of his 17 passes for 161 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Running back Donovan Edwards had a big game, rushing 25 times for 185 yards and a touchdown. Star running back Blake Corum suffered a knee injury 2 games ago against Ohio State, and he's out for the season. Michigan overall is averaging 40 points, while their defense is giving up 13 points per game. The defense is ranked 5th best in all of college football. On the other side of this matchup is the TCU Horned Frogs, who sit with a 12-1 record overall, but they made things interesting with the loss in the last game. In the Big 12 championship game, TCU was competitive, but they ended up losing 31-28 in overtime. Max Duggan completed 18 of his 36 passes for 251 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He also rushed 15 times for 110 yards and a touchdown. There were some questions if they had done enough to get into the playoffs, but they were able to secure the berth. TCU is averaging 40 points, while their defense is giving up 25 points per game. Duggan on the season has thrown for 3,321 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. The Horned Frogs are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 bowl games and 9-3-1 against the spread in their last 13 games overall. The Wolverines are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 bowl games and 19-7-1 against the spread in their last 27 games overall. The under is 4-1 in Horned Frogs' last 5 games overall. The over is 10-4 in Wolverines' last 14 bowl games. The Michigan Wolverines are the more talented team from top to bottom, and their defense is downright scary. Michigan should be favored to win this game. However, we're not going to browse over TCU like this team isn't good. Duggan is a gamer at the quarterback position, and he leads one of the more balanced offenses in the country. TCU has also improved defensively as the season plays out, which includes 14 or fewer points allowed twice in their last 4 games. TCU is getting too many points here. Max Duggan is an elite quarterback, and even against a good defense, he should find success. Not having Corum is a big loss for Michigan, and although the Wolverines will probably still win this game, they shouldn't be getting a touchdown here. This line is disrespectful toward TCU, so the TCU Horned Frogs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This will be a defensive battle. The Michigan defense will cause a big challenge for the TCU defense, especially when it comes to their running game. Often, Duggan will be forced to scramble, but against a quick Wolverines defense, he may be forced to hand the ball off or opt for quick, short routes downfield. TCU's secondary has been dominant this year when it comes to forcing turnovers, so we will likely see Harbaugh prioritizing the run game over the passing game to prevent interceptions. The Horned Frogs typically rely on the ground game and gain big yards when Duggan steps out of the pocket, but against this defensive line and secondary, we won't see much accomplished out of the pocket. With each of these defenses countering the strengths of the offense, expect a low-scoring affair. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Ohio State versus Georgia. The Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Georgia Bulldogs in a college football playoff semifinal showdown from Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday night. The Buckeyes were able to sneak into the playoff, even despite losing their last time out against Michigan. For Georgia, they have looked primed to be atop the standings for months as they look to make it back-to-back championships. These two haven't met in decades, even despite being two of the biggest names in the sport, which is serving to only help build the anticipation towards this matchup. The Ohio State Buckeyes come into the college football playoffs as the 4 seed after their 11-1 mark in the regular season. C.J. Stroud has thrown for 3,340 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions on 66.2% passing, while Miyan Williams has a team-high 817 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns, and Tre'Veyon Henderson also has 571 rushing yards and 6 scores as well this season. Dallin Hayden has also chipped in 510 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns this season. Marvin Harrison Jr. leads the Buckeyes with 72 catches for 1,157 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns, while Emeka Egbuka has 66 catches for 1,039 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. Julian Fleming also has 462 receiving yards with 6 touchdowns, while Cade Stover has 399 receiving yards and 5 scores. On defense, Tommy Eichenberg has a team-high 112 total tackles with 72 solo tackles, while Ohio State's defense as a whole has 32 sacks and 10 interceptions this season. The Georgia Bulldogs will come into their college football title defense as the 1 seed, finishing the year at 13-0 as the Southeastern Conference champions. Stetson Bennett has thrown for 3,425 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions on 68.1% passing, while Kenny McIntosh and Dajon Edwards have combined for 1,390 rushing yards this season with a combined 17 touchdowns. Kendall Milton also has 533 rushing yards and 6 scores this season. Brock Bowers leads the Bulldogs with 726 receiving yards, while Ladd McConkey has 675 receiving yards, and 2 more Bulldogs have 400-plus receiving yards as well this season. On defense, 3 different Bulldogs have a team-high 64 total tackles, while Georgia's defense as a whole has 26 sacks and 10 interceptions this season. Ohio State is 0-3-1 against the spread in their last 4 games against a team with a winning record, and 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 neutral site games, while the over is 6-0 in their last 6 games against a team with a winning record. Georgia is 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 bowl games and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 neutral site games, while the under is 4-1 in their last 6 non-conference games. The Ohio State Buckeyes are playing with house money, getting a berth in the college football playoff after the USC Trojans lost in the Pac-12 championship game. They are coming off a 45-23 blowout by second-ranked Michigan on November 26th in Columbus, Ohio. They finished the season second in scoring offense with 44.5 points a game while holding opponents to 19 points per game. C.J. Stroud led the nation in passer efficiency rating. He threw for 3,340 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. The Georgia Bulldogs coasted through the Southeastern Conference, going undefeated and getting a chance to defend their crown in the college football playoff. Stetson Bennett has been a steady hand behind center. He led the Georgia passing game with 3,425 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks, and is 27-3 as a starting quarterback. The edge here lies with Stroud, and I believe he will ball out in a big way after the Buckeyes were criticized relentlessly leading up to this game. As long as they do not get gouged in the trenches, they should outscore the Bulldogs in a thrilling game. So the Ohio State Buckeyes to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Buckeyes coasted through the Big Ten before getting humiliated by the Michigan Wolverines before the Big Ten title game. They were second in scoring offense but had issues with protection against the better clubs they have faced this season. The 3 weeks off certainly helps their issues on the line, and Coach Ryan Day will have his offense ready. Wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the best receivers in the country, and although they will not have receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba and running back Tre'Veyon Henderson, they have enough to keep up scoring-wise. In the Buckeyes' 3 wins in prior college football playoff, they have averaged 44 points. Both teams average a ton of yards and points and will showcase that on the national stage. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.